The Georgia Bulldogs are the #1 team in the country as they head down to Jacksonville to take on the Florida Gators, and the staff is hoping to land the #1 recruiting class as well. They're coming off a monster week on the trail as they picked up commitments from multiple top targets over the last several weeks. But last week in particular, they landed two giant elite defensive linemen. They flipped another offensive lineman from Florida State. News on news on news. Of course, all of it's over on Dog Post, but right now, before we head into the second part of Georgia season, I definitely want to let y'all know where things stand in recruiting. And so let's just go ahead and break that down now. Of course, at quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, one of the top quarterback prospects in the entire country, dual threat, one of the best Georgia high school football quarterbacks of all time. They've got him on board. That's it. He's their quarterback. Running back, they've got two guys on board already. One of the best in Branson Robinson, a Nick Chubb lookalike. Big bruising back with speed who can move and make you miss as well. But this is a guy who is strong as an ox. He runs hard, and he's a guy that I think could play very early on in Athens. Another is Jordan James, close to Nashville up in Murfreesboro, I think is where he's from. Four-star kid, versatile, great spin move. He's going to complement a guy like Branson Robinson really well. So this is more of a James Cook type. He can help you out in the backfield, kind of a Swiss Army knife type of deal, but he can make you miss as well. So two solid four-star backs on the board for Del McGee. So Georgia is pretty stacked of running back moving forward with those guys. At tight end, boom, you know all about him now. Excuse me, Oscar Delp, Georgia's only tight end target in this class. They went after him. They got him. One of the nation's best. I think he's the #1 tight end in the country. In my eyes, #6 player in the state of Georgia. I think I have him in my rankings. Big deal. They only wanted one in this class, and they got their big guy. On the offensive line, three guys on board right now. 3-star Griffin Scroggs out of Grayson. 3-star tackle Jacob Hood from the Nashville area as well. And then Ali Ba, the 3-star that they just flipped from Florida State last week down in Bradenton at IMG Academy. These are guys who are not going to be expected to play right away. They're not Amarius Mims, Broderick Jones, Jamari Saylor type of guys, but they have size, they've got potential, and if they sit back and learn for a couple of years, maybe one of these guys can break out into the starting rotation year 3 or so. And if anything earlier than that, then you've got a real steal on your hands. So they would love to add one more, and I believe that guy is going to be Ernest Green Jr., one of the top interior guard prospects in the country out of California. Took his official visit to Georgia this, I believe earlier in October, was at his official visit to Texas just last week. I think it could be down to those two, and I think Georgia behind the scenes is the team to beat for him, one of the top offensive line prospects in the entire country, and I think Georgia sits in a really good spot for him. So wide receiver, looking pretty good. You've got a few guys right now. Denylon Morissette, solid 4-star guy that I've seen multiple times out of North Cobb. Possession receiver with speed and burst, 6'1", about 200 pounds. Cole Spear, lightning quick. He's fast. He's probably the fastest 40 guy right now on the commit list. A wide receiver, can really stretch the field and get behind a defense. He's making a lot of plays for Calhoun. 3-star kid that the staff worked out in person. They liked him, they offered him, and they accepted his commitment. Dylan Bell's a 3-star wide receiver out of Houston. Plays in a private region down there, and he is just killing kids left and right. I mean, he is making it look easy. So it could take a minute to adjust to the SEC speed when he gets to Athens, but he's another guy with lots of big play potential. So those are 3 wide receivers to keep an eye on. Kojo Antwi at Ohio State, commitment right now at Lambert's one to watch. Andre Green Jr., long, athletic, lanky wide receiver from Virginia. He's another guy to keep an eye on as well. So we'll see where they go moving forward. Shaz Preston is another kid that Cortez Hankton went to go watch in person last week. He's a 4-star guy and rising in the rankings, so he's a guy to know as well. So overall, is not an elite wide receiver commitment list that they got right now, but after bringing in so many talented guys the last few classes and seeing some of these younger players step up, again, the wide receiver room in Athens is really young, so I didn't expect a lot of big-time 5-stars to really jump on board in this class. They might be able to pull that off in 2023, though. So offensively, that's kind of where things stand. Defense, there's still a lot of question marks. On the defensive line, again, they picked up 5-star edge Michael Williams, elite pass rusher. 6'5", 265, can really move. Maybe he moves inside and plays on the interior as he gets older. But he's an elite talent, one of the nation's best. Bear Alexander, the guy in the middle, stuff in the run game, getting after the passer. Everyone who I've seen that has watched him play absolutely raves about him. Now at IMG Academy down there. But Georgia locked down on him early, committed once, backed off, committed again. And I think this is a guy who is not as big as Jordan Davis, but might be able to make that type of impact. But he's really quick off the ball for 300 plus pounds, and he really gets after it. So definitely a guy who I think could see a lot of playing time early on. Tyree West is a 4-star from down in Tifton at Tift County. Not overly big, but he got a good motor. Gets off blocks well. He's kind of a natural. He's not the most athletic defensive lineman in this class or in this state, but he gets after it and gets after the quarterback and does really well against the run too. His film early on really stood out. Kristen Miller, 4-star defensive tackle out of Cedar Grove. Saw him last week. He was outstanding against inferior opponents, but he dominated every single play. He's a guy I know, really close friends with Tyree and Michael Williams. These guys know each other a lot, and I think if Georgia continues to push for him, I think Kristen Miller could be a Georgia Bulldog in the end. Linebacker, Jalen Walker on board, versatile guy who can play inside or outside, checks all the boxes, one of the top linebackers in the country. CJ Washington, another guy who could play inside, just runs and hits. Cedartown, a guy who all muscle, chiseled out, dedicated, motivated, hard worker. I think Georgia fans are going to like him a lot. Darius Smith, outside linebacker, 6'6", about 230 now. Kind of an athletic freak that a lot of people don't really know a ton about down in Bexley County. Is Appling County in Bexley, but he can get after it. That's your Adam Anderson type, long and athletic, who can really get after the passer. CJ Madden, another edge guy, hasn't played a ton of high school football, but he's at Cedar Grove now making an impact. Georgia loves his size and the potential that he has. So he's a guy who might sit a little bit, but really impress people down the road. In the secondary, a lot of quality dudes. Again, Marquise Groves Killebrew is on the board right now. You've got Malachi Starks at safety, one of the top prospects in the entire country. He's going to make a lot of plays, an absolute ball hawk back there. Easy to see his 5-star time when you go watch him play. Ja'Cory Thomas, going to be that star position, could play wide receiver, really good ball skills. He's got some length on him too. They're looking really well for a lot of guys. What's the kid's name? Julian Humphrey just decommitted from Florida State. From Houston, he's a guy to keep an eye on. He took his official visit to Georgia earlier this month. Jaheim Singletary, 5-star cornerback from Jacksonville. I think Georgia leads for him as well. So this could be a really, really strong defensive back class. Arguably the best defensive back class that anyone brings in across the country. So 5-star safety. Kamari Wilson is another guy. I mean, they could end up with 3 5-star defensive backs alone in this class. That would be outstanding. And I wouldn't put it past Kirby Smart, to be honest with you. He's locked. He's loaded. He's getting the guys he wants. And if they get guys like Jaheim Singletary and add Humphrey and a few of these guys on defense, I mean, they're at 21 right now. Maybe another Ernest Green, maybe another big-time wide receiver. I do think that this class could absolutely push for the number 1 ranking. And there's a few guys out there who might decide to maybe flip to Georgia down the road. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. Kirby's always up to something. We see it every year around signing day, and I expect this year to be no different, guys. Thank you for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now. I'll see you over on the website.